Hey, hi everybody. Well, so far I see one person. I see Danny Ambrosi here. Hello, welcome to another movie chat discussion. And I'm here with Tom Hunyadi. Hey, Tom.
Hey,
And you try to do this once a month or so, something like that. And Tom, of course, anybody catching this as a video who's not here yet may find out that Tom has a podcast that he does called Two Legs on YouTube, and that's if you're a McCartney fan, Paul McCartney, you can go there. I see we got Tim Allen here.
hey, Tim.
Well, I said, what can I ask to get you two arguing? Oh, it's
Ah,
I was already. I don't know, Tim. If you think, let me know if you also want to come up there, and argue, with movies. You seem to know about movies, but
Mhm.
you could do that as well. So what can I say? I think I like to start out sometimes by saying, Tom, since we last met,
Yes.
have you gotten any movies? Did you?
Well, I have, as a matter of fact.
That was a
Thank you for asking.
silly question, I know.
Yeah. As I'm texting my wife real quick.
Good time for that.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, she's always got great timing.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know that at the movie I picked up, one of the movies I picked up the other day, and that's the film Night Shift.
Exactly.
Right here,
Yes.
1982, celebrating its what 40th anniversary. My
One of my
God.
all-time favorite movies, which I was thinking we might do a special discussion just on that movie.
Yeah, let's do that because I don't want to get too much into it. But Michael Keaton is a blast in this film.
Oh, he is.
Just
He's
so,
amazing. Yeah, it's his first movie, I think, his debut
um,
in the movies.
perhaps. Yeah, and then Shelley Long is beautiful. Um, I am a huge fan of the B sword and sorcery films of the
Okay.
80s. And Shout Factory just delivered today one of those films, and it's called The Warrior and the Sorceress. Okay,
No.
starring David Carradine. This came back in 1984, and I just pre-ordered a ton of films that are not coming out until October. But yeah, those are the two that I've picked up last couple weeks. Not
And I
much.
know that Scar to God, I know that line too. It's what's his name? Bobby Chico or something. There's a Barney Rubble. That's Barney Rubble. What an actor! I've seen the movie like 20 times. I get into that. Be sure anybody who likes Night Shift to please, when we do this, and it's going to be sometime in the next couple of months because we want to do it before the year runs out because it's 40th
Right.
anniversary. But be here for that, and I'm going to really go into some detail about that. It's one of my favorite comedy movies.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a question for you, Tom. What's the better movie, How I Won the War or Caveman?
Wow. Artistic wise, we'll go with How I Won the War, but I think Caveman altogether is probably the better of the two.
Well, I've never seen all of, you didn't
Mm.
ask me, but I've never seen all of How I Won the War. So, but from what
Mhm.
I've seen, I think Caveman is more entertaining from what I've seen.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
so yeah, so we're relying on a lot of you to ask questions. Although, because we don't really get a big audience yet, hopefully one day we'll get a bigger audience. You get a lot of the same questions, which is,
Yeah.
you know,
And
okay.
somehow Beatles ends up working its way into sometimes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an invite link here, but I'm just going to put it for Tim Allen actually, because and that's up to you, Tim. There's no pressure to come up here. If you don't want to come up, you don't have to. But I know sometimes you know some film stuff you like to talk about.
Yeah.
We can talk about anything. So you're welcome to come up if you want, and this will be a video, so you'll be
Mm.
on. You know.
Ooh.
So
There is talks of one thing we can talk about real quick is Woody Allen announced pretty much that his next film will be his last.
yeah, I heard a report of that, but Tom, then I saw another article a day later or something,
Mhm.
him saying I never said that kind of thing. Like,
Really?
so I don't know what's true.
Oh no.
Might
Hmm.
just as well be. I mean, in a way, I'm like, no, I don't ever want Woody Allen to stop, but
Right.
at the same time, for a long time, I'm thinking, he repeated
Yeah.
his many times. His formula, you know, has gotten thin a long time ago, but it's like what would the world be like without a Woody
Right.
Allen movie coming out? You know?
Well, he's one of the very few that's been able to, be left alone. He makes his movie, he gets his artistic freedom, and most of the time, I mean, they're pretty entertaining or funny or lightweight comedies or whatever you want to call them, and they're good for the most part. But when they're bad though.
Yeah.
Mm,
Hello, Penny Lane. Oh, well, you think this would be an easy question to answer. I'm better with actresses, I think. Who are my top favorite top three actors? Well, I'll say it. I don't care. Charlton Heston,
mm,
but that's not again. And Al Pacino also. Now, I'm not going to say either one of these guys are like the greatest actors in the talent sense, really.
yeah, they're your favorites.
In the case of Charlton Heston, I just grew up with him with a lot of stuff like Planet of the Apes and the Omega Man and Ten Commandments and Soylent Green and Ben Hur, and he
Yep.
plays Sherlock Holmes. He plays, he can play Andrew Jackson. He does all kinds of a variety of roles. Some people say he's just himself. I've heard that a lot of it's still him. Same thing with Pacino,
Mhm.
maybe those two I like. But then I like old horror actors like Boris Karloff. So those are the first three that come to mind for me. And
Mm.
Tom, why don't you, if you can chime
Well,
in?
I'll just give you my top five, and it's just been this way for a long time. But Robert De Niro, Burt Lancaster, Marlon Brando, Paul Newman, and Montgomery Clift are my top five.
Can't argue
And if
with those.
and if I was going to do a top three, it would be De Niro, Burt Lancaster, and Marlon Brando.
As far as the Star Trek movies go, I've never been a Trekkie or a Trekker, whatever the term is. But I have seen a few. I've come to like Star Trek, the original series, over the years. I got into it late in life, and I do like it. And I do like the Next Generation, and I do like characters like Picard and Data, and all the original cast too, Spock and Kirk and all that. So anyway, back to the movies. Yeah, I've seen most of the movies. The first movie I saw of Star Trek, believe it or not, before I even watched the television series, I think, was The Final Frontier, Star Trek Five, which everybody says was terrible, but I didn't have anything to go by, so I didn't know the difference. So I thought it was
Mm.
good, and I saw pretty much most of them, if not all of them. I liked one of the whatever the Next Generation movie was with the Borg. I think it was First Contact, or was that the name of it? Maybe it's not.
Possibly.
That they when
Mm.
they're taking over the ship. I like that one, and Star Trek Two I saw in the movies. No, actually, I take it back. Star Trek Two was the first one movie I saw because I
Yeah.
saw it in the movies. I saw that in the film with some friends, but they were all laughing good naturedly at the inside jokes, like maybe Bones McCoy would like make a joke that you
Mm.
Vulcan, you right, and then people would be laughing because they knew they got the idea from the TV show, and I didn't know what the hell they were laughing about. It's like an in joke, you know. But yeah, I guess they're okay, I mean, sure.
Right.
Uh, but see, Tim Allen's trying to come up down there, so let's see how he does with his technical apparatus tonight. Here he is, home improvement
What's up?
himself, Tim Allen.
What's up,
Hey,
gentlemen?
how are you?
Thanks, thanks for inviting
Gentlemen,
me. Tom, how
who
are you?
Not bad, Tim. Not bad.
Yeah, so sure. Let's see
Sorry I
now.
missed sorry I missed last night. But hope the show went well for you.
Oh no, that
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, it did. It did. Fine. It's just a pop up.
I never saw Saturday the 14th. Anybody else? I know what it is though.
No, yeah, no, never seen it.
No, I remember commercials back then, but no.
Right.
Yeah, I hear there's going to be another Indiana Jones movie with Harrison
Yes,
Ford. Oh
Harrison
man.
Ford. Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
favorite Woody Allen movies? There's a lot of them for me. I don't even know where to begin.
I'll tell you what, Blue Jasmine, I think, is his modern day masterpiece. I think Kate Blanchett is brilliant in that film, and
Oh, really?
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Because you can
Uh,
that movie for anybody interested. That movie is like on Blu-ray at the dollar store for like a
Oh,
dollar
Woody
25.
Allen movies on Blu-ray. Well, wow.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's I think the only
yeah,
one on
yeah.
Blu-ray, but that one is on Blu-ray at the dollar store.
Yeah, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, I think is great. I think Midnight in Paris is great for his last half of his. I mean, if this is next film is going to be his last film, um, those three I think are some of his better of his later day career.
My whole thing with Woody Allen, I mean, only really like watching the movies for the most part that Woody Allen's in. Like I watched them for him
Mhm.
as as the comedian or whatever. But I did like Match Point a lot. And here's just somebody,
Yeah,
Matthew Smith
yeah,
mentioned that Match Point. He's
mm,
not in Match Point, but I mean, gee, the first movie I ever saw of Woody Allen, and I recommend it for anybody who hasn't ever watched it, is probably Sleeper. That goes down
mm,
easy as a comedy, but
yeah,
these days, I went on to like stuff like let me go on with Crimes and Misdemeanors. I like Hannah and her sisters
Broadway Danny
and
Rose.
Broadway Danny Rose. I like a lot, you know. And what's the other one? that A lot of people. I think Tom said once he does. We usually get this question. I like Husbands and Wives. I think that was one maybe Tom didn't like.
Yeah, I think that was the dud.
I like that. Yeah, it's hit and miss pretty much, But I can enjoy anything. I like Small Time Crooks a lot,
Hmm.
and I love the
Yeah, I
premise
like
behind when
Small
they.
Time Crook.
Oh, oh, you like that one too? And that was they said that was
Yep.
influenced by an early Edward G. Robinson movie. Actually, I don't know, something like that. But there was a later one I liked that doesn't get a lot of attention. Hollywood Ending goes on a little long, but
It
it's the
does.
idea is that Woody Allen's so nervous about having to make this. He's a director. He's on his last legs, and he hire him for a job, and he's so nervous to get it right that he goes blind as the temporary like blindness, psychological,
Right.
psychosomatic blindness, and now he's got to try to direct the movie while blind. Because he's got to like make this a good movie. So we got to find a way to direct it blind. I think that's a great idea. But
Yeah. I think there
anyway.
was kind of a weak period for him. I mean, I appreciate you liking Hollywood Ending, but like The Curse of Jade Scorpion,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hollywood Ending, Hollywood Ending, and anything else, and Melinda, I think kind of were like not, his best work, but
Yeah, anything else I didn't like. Yeah, it's all subjective. There's a few here, a few
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like Manhattan Murder Mystery. I like that too.
Mm,
That was mentioned here. That's another one I liked. But some of them
I
work, some of them don't.
mm,
he has more films that I haven't seen than films that I have, unfortunately. So I don't
gotcha.
know a lot of them. I like a lot of his early stuff. I mean, I like
Oh yeah,
Zelig,
those
I
are
like
classics. Oh,
Sleeper,
love Zelig.
I, I like What's Up Tiger Lily just because it's so silly.
Uh, the dubbing and everything. Funny dub. This is up. Thank you for saying this because I don't feel so bad now saying that about Al Pacino or Charlton Heston. That Robert De Niro is the same character in every movie. But you said Cape
I,
Fear is the only movie where he had a different vibe. I think he had a
I
different,
disagree. Mm,
different. Well, I'm sure Tom's a big fan. I'm sure he had a different vibe in King of Comedy. I didn't think that was. I
yeah.
believe that wasn't De Niro too much.
Yeah, I mean now I can understand. I mean probably since the maybe late '90s and into the 2000s, I mean I'll agree with that statement. But the first 20 years, 25 years of his career, no, not so much.
Best horror films with horrific circumstances around them. Geez, I don't even understand the question. I
Yeah,
guess.
give us an example, Ollie.
Like, does he mean like where real bad things happened while they were making it? Is that what?
Yeah.
I don't know what he means.
Oh well, The Exorcist had a lot of bad things happen on the set and afterwards and everything.
And
People
Amityville
dying and everything.
Horror too, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? I just Speaking of Jack Nicholson, guess what I just saw on YouTube for only the first time in my life.
Hmm.
And um, the restaurant scene or
Oh, and
diner
Five Easy
scene.
Pieces.
So
Five Easy
I just
Pieces.
Oh,
watched
Yeah.
that for the first time in my life.
Classic.
wow,
Classic.
I don't know if I want to
wow.
see the whole movie though. I was reading about it, but that scene is gold.
Oh,
I
good
think Five
movie.
Easy Pieces is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't it one of your favorites, Tom?
Yeah. Yeah. I love Five Easy Pieces.
and Christian Bale is good because he's different in every movie. That's what I like about Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep's my favorite actress, or one of my favorite actresses. She's
Hmm.
different in everything. Right,
Oh yeah.
very versatile. You know. Oh yes, you asked me this before. There's so many things on my list. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Willard and Ben. I better write it down.
When I was a kid, I saw that both of those as a double feature to drive in.
Well, you could have left after Willard.
When I was, I don't know, 12 or something, I was fairly young.
Because Ben is really bad. I think Willard. I mean, I was 9 years old when I saw Willard. It was pretty creepy at the time. It's not a good movie, a great movie, but I like it.
Henry,
Um,
I will disagree. I will argue that all day long. That last comment of yours, but that's fine. It's your opinion.
about De Niro.
Well, when you get to it, you'll know.
Oh, where is it? Where is it?
Oh, don't worry about it. Just we'll get to it. Just keep going in order.
I may not see. That's why Christian Bale's good, but I might
You know.
agree about about De Niro. Disagree about Nicholson. I'm dying behind him. So you could. Well, you said that about him being a good actor. That one. But he's different. He's the same in everything. He feels, but eh. Oh yeah, isn't that funny? Nobody mentioned Annie Hall when it came to Woody Allen.
Well,
They,
I mean, everybody knows that's a classic, really.
they single that out.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Woody Allen movies isn't even a Woody Allen movie. It's Play It Again, Sam. It's
Right.
definitely. I would recommend that as one of the first Woody Allen movies with him in it to see. You know, um, I just saw Godfather 3 again. I saw it in the movie theater when it was out, and I saw it again. I think it's fine, just that it can't compete with 1 and 2. But I still don't like Sofia Coppola in that role at all. And I was hot for Winona Ryder back in the day, and
Yeah.
I wish she would have been in it. Just as I was, well, no, she was in the Bram Stoker's Dracula, right? Yeah, she was she was in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't take Sofia Coppola. I tried. I don't think still don't think she's too good. But I like it part 3 because I just feel it's like Michael Corleone. It's him trying to atone for his wrongs, and he never can really get out of it, kind of things. And he has to pay the price, kind of thing. I like all that angle of it. I wish they would have had Robert Duvall. I wish they would have paid him more because Robert
Right.
Duvall was not in it. But then again, I realized I thought that going in again, I thought George Hamilton was playing the same role, and I looked it up, and he's not supposed to be. He's not. What's the guy's name? And is it Tom? What's the
Hey,
name
Tom
of
Hagen. Tom
Tom
Hagen.
Hagen? He's not, and he's not. He's another character, which for the longest time I thought he's supposed to be the same character. And if he's another lawyer or a replacement or something, that's fine. A lot of people make fun of Pacino's haircut in that movie. I don't know. You know, I like seeing him have like a diabetic attack and stuff. I think I don't know. See him like getting older and having issues.
Hmm.
It was interesting to me. Those are things when I'm younger. I'm like, it's boring. Then when you get older, I find I'm more interested in these dramatic touches. Is that the one?
Okay. This
Is
is the
that the
one. Now, I'm
one?
going to tell you, I'm going to make something perfectly clear here, right now, right here. Now, listen to this. De Niro could have starred in anything Pacino ever did and have been better in it. Okay. Second of all, Pacino could have never convinced me that he was a boxer, a lunatic, a saxophone player. a very sick man in Awakenings. I mean, there's stuff that Pacino could have never done that De Niro did in his career. So you're
No,
wrong. You're
I
wrong.
don't agree. So you got to understand, I'm a Pacino guy. He's a De Niro
I
guy,
know. Okay, so listen,
but
you
I
think
don't
Pacino
believe.
could have played Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver? No,
Well, wait a
no,
minute. He's
no,
kind of crazy in a lot of things, you know.
no.
So I don't know about that. What
Pacino
about
could have never
Kevorkian?
played. De Niro could have done that with his eyes closed.
What about the
Pacino could have never
Frankenstein?
played. Pacino could have never played Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull. Never in 100 years. Okay, he never would have done the character De Niro did in Awakenings, and so on and so on.
I don't know about that one. Well, how about the character? How about Frank Slade in Scent of a Woman?
Oh, De Niro could have done that again with his eyes
I
closed,
can't. Wait a
talking.
minute. Wait, I know a role that Pacino, two roles Pacino did that I don't think De Niro could have done. One of them is
Go for it.
Scarface, and the other one is that particular type of character, Cuban,
Carlito's Way.
and Carlito's Way. Carlito's Way. De Niro can't play Carlito.
I still think the act. I think De Niro could have easily got the accent.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That'd be funny.
I'm staying out of this.
I mean, I'll give you that. Maybe if I have to pick between the two, I would say that De Niro's probably more versatile, but I don't think he's that versatile. But he's more versatile. I would think. I'll give you that.
All right. I'm sure he could, Harry.
I still didn't see The Irishman, but I might have to now.
Mhm.
There's a lot of movies, I mean, a lot of movies I got to see. A lot of Pacino movies I haven't seen. What are you kidding?
Yeah.
There's so many
Yeah,
things out there, man.
me too.
I'm sorry I don't get every comment here. I'm just trying to. Padge agrees. Yeah, baby. Come on, suck it up, Tom. Yeah, see, that's what I say. I don't think De Niro could have done that. Anyway, imagine De Niro in Cruising. Ah,
Yeah, I could.
you know,
Have you
ooh-ah.
seen Cruising, Tim?
No, I haven't seen Cruising.
Mhm.
Yeah, The
But
Devil's Advocate. Yeah, that's well. I could probably see. I just watched that again recently. I
Um,
could probably see De Niro being like the devil
well, yeah,
kind of
but
thing.
he played the devil in Angel's Heart or an Angel
Oh,
Heart. So, but
okay.
it was a more subtle performance, whereas Pacino was a little bit more over the top.
Yeah, but that's another thing. That over the top. I don't know why that bothers people. I'm not saying it bothers you here, but in some places it does.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes it calls for it. It only bothers me when there's no reason to be that over the top. If you want to see it, watch Jay Robinson as Caligula in
Mm.
movies like The Robe and Demetrius and the Gladiators, and he's like, really, hey, get me that robe. You must, you really like overdoing it, just to say something like that. But when you're
Mm.
insane or something, or you should be, angry. You better be like screaming and stuff. I don't know. That's what I think. But and by the
yeah,
way, if I missed some questions, you could try them again. Try them again. Pacino couldn't do King of Comedy. Um, I don't know.
But you gotta also understand too that back then in the 70s and 80s, they were both competing for the same role over and over. I mean, many roles that they were competing for.
Same thing happens with Karloff and Lugosi. I mean, it's like Karloff or Lugosi, and people go back and
Right.
forth. Karloff is so much more versatile than Lugosi. But by the same token, people say Karloff could never play Dracula, like convincingly, the way like Lugosi did. But I wonder about that. Depends on which type of Dracula you're doing, I guess. Uh, you know, um, I'll take a moment here. Uh, I was trying to think about again with my channel different things. I'm still trying to work this channel, what I'm going to do, and stuff. And somebody in the comments said, "You know what I think you should do? You should do your original idea, which was make this just a horror channel and a horror and science fiction, really." because it says Mayo After Dark, and then
Right.
you got a green face as a symbol. And you go on there on your main page, he says, and you see a picture of Bela Lugosi. And then you're talking about comedies and you're talking about all this. And I thought about that for a minute and said, yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I think Mayo After Dark, anyway, the title could mean any, movies in general. That's one of the reasons why I went with it. It could be a horror I feel, or it could
Hmm.
be just after dark you watch movies, you know. And it cuts out a lot of things if you're only going to do horror movies. And Tom and I, of course, wouldn't be just talking about horror movies. You know.
And I think there are a lot of channels that just do horror movies already. I don't
Hmm.
think
Yeah,
there
it's
are that
interesting you
many
should
that
say
just
that.
cover movies, but there's a lot of just horror movie channels.
It's interesting you say that because this guy said I don't think anybody's doing this yet. But what he meant was he specifically said I should stick with like 30s, 40s, and 50s. He says
Oh,
I don't think
yeah, that
anybody's doing
maybe
that.
not.
And I said no. Well, if I'm going to do horror, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it from the silent era, like Nosferatu, you know, silent films, all the way through.
Mhm.
Although I rarely see any, whatever's in the theater now or whatever. You know, I wouldn't just stop. You know, with that. So I'm still all over the place, folks, with this. You know, I'm going to just see what happens. You know. Um, this comes up from time to time. The Saw franchise. Either one of you gentlemen see the Saw franchise?
Have no interest
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Me
Well,
either.
the thing was, I went to Blockbuster one time looking for a movie to rent one night, and back when there was a
Wait, what's
Blockbuster.
that?
Yeah.
What's
And I saw, and I knew about it. I said, like I say, I don't prefer bloody or gory movies. I prefer more subtle,
Mhm.
classy old movies. But I said, all right, I like them once in a while. So I said, let me see this. And I was surprised because I thought the idea behind it was really well done, aside from the gore idea. And basically, the idea is that a guy played by Tobin Bell is dying of cancer. What is that? What happened? A guy played by Tobin Bell is dying of cancer, and he sets up booby traps to kind of teach people to appreciate their lives and their health while they have things. That's what I got out of the first one. Appreciate their lives, and they can survive if they can make it through this. He only picks people who are like drug addicts or criminals or something like that, and I really like the idea. And then there's one girl in there who's one of the victims that survives, and she winds up being his helper, and she goes to tell the police he helped me. He saved my life. Tom, you're really ruining this. What's going on, buddy?
I had to
Did
go.
you,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I thought you fell off the chair or something. As soon as I
No,
talk
no, no,
about
no.
Saw, he's out. That's it. See why I can't just have an all horror channel? Seriously, kidding. Serious and kidding at the same time. But anyway, that kind of an angle, like, oh, it's not just about, oh, let's just chop off our hands or pull arms out. It's about, the reason why this guy is doing this. Then there were some actors, and I forget who they were. Danny Glover? I think is in the first one. I didn't expect to see him in there. Then and the booby traps are pretty cool. You got to go through all these elaborate booby traps or die, and it's great.
Right.
So anyway, oh, okay, here you go. Who's better, Marlon Brando or Daniel Day Lewis?
Wow. I love some of Daniel Day Lewis's films are fantastic, or some of his performances, as I should say. There Will Be Blood. I think is the best performance of the first half of this century, or of the last 22 years. But I'm gonna have to go with Brando.
Mm.
Just too many good performances.
I'm not a Chevy Chase fan, to be honest with you, but I do like Vacation. I think of the ones I've seen, I think Vacation is probably the best.
Yeah, the
First one.
first Fletch. Yeah, the first Fletch film I think is good.
There was that movie. What was the one I saw in the theater? Modern Problems, I think it was called. That's a
Mm,
little later. I think from '81. That was okay. But
And then there was Under the Rainbow, I think it was called, with
oh, I
Carrie
saw I
Fisher.
saw that in the
Yeah.
movies.
So
Yeah,
did
that's right.
I. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just vacation for me. Other than that,
Yeah.
yeah, they
I
really
wasn't
pushed
even
that.
a fan on Saturday
They,
Night Live, let alone in the movies.
yeah, yeah, I like them better on Saturday Night Live
I
probably.
I thought he was the least funny person on Saturday Night Live.
Okay, got a few comments here. Oops. People do it, but don't let it. Talking about what I do here. People do it, but don't let it stop you. You have your own voice and fan base. Yeah, that's it. I'm never going to be doing all this using clips. I mean, that's one thing about me. If I'm talking about movies, I'm not going to show you clips, mainly because I don't know how the hell to do it, but also because I don't want to deal with copyrights and all that. And I still have to hold up the movies. Oh, here's another movie I like by Pacino, Sea of Love. Uh,
That's a good one.
you know, I still, and I saw Sea of Love and I hold it up. I still want to find out how to do the basic thing where you talk and the image comes up on the side in a box. A poster
Hmm.
pops up. That should be easy enough. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to keep trying this, pass the word on. I think the main thing with my channel is the fact that I don't keep it going. A year ago I was putting up a review every morning practically. But they were old. They were horror movies from the 30s, and a lot of people didn't even care to tell you the truth. But I'm still going to do it. So, by the way, if you see any questions that you want to answer that I missed, just read the question and say your answer because I might have missed it. How about this? Name an actor or actress you dislike but enjoy a film they starred in. Oh, that's a great question.
Um, I am not a Keanu Reeves fan, to be honest with you.
Oh,
But Bram Stoker's Dracula, I enjoy. That he's in.
that movie
Actually,
sucks. Get it?
yeah, yeah,
It's a
Mm.
and
love story.
yeah,
Dracula's a
yeah,
lover.
and I
Uh,
do like Devil's Advocate. And
yeah, I
he's
was
in
going to
that.
mention that. Thanks for. I'm glad you mentioned Keanu Reeves because I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but from what I have seen, I thought Devil's Advocate was his best. I think he was
Mm,
he was good in that part. I believed him in that
mhm,
part, and I thought he was pretty good. So I liked him in that. But I can't stand Whoopi Goldberg, and I like
yeah.
Ghost. She's good. She's
All right.
the movie. Well, I like Ghost. I don't. I saw it with my ex-wife, and I liked it. I'm not. But she was good in that. She's been in movies like that, and I'm trying to think. Oh, well, anybody else has got to. There has to be others, but I can't.
Oh, of course.
I don't like Adam Sandler, but I love
There you
Punch
go.
Drunk Love.
Yeah, his
Oh,
best movie.
okay. I can't stand Jim Carrey, especially for that stupid video. I'll mention it all the time that he did about Charlton Heston, and one of the about because he was the NRA. You know what? Look, I can separate. I can separate. A person's political stuff from their movies. And Heston was very, very liberal when he was younger and marched with Martin Luther King and all that. But anyway, in this thing, I love that part where Jim Carrey says, Charlton Heston movies are no longer in demand, or something stupid like that. Meanwhile, Ten Commandments is an annual tradition. Ben Hur is an annual tradition. Planet of the
Hmm.
Apes will live
Yeah,
forever. And you're sitting here. What do you have? But what do you have that's so fantastic and going to live forever? Having said that, yeah, I hate him, but I do like The Mask. I think The Mask was pretty. He was
Yeah,
good in that.
and Tom Cruise is another one, but I do love his performance in Magnolia.
Yeah, good one. I don't like Tom Cruise myself
Mm-hmm.
either, but I like him in two movies: Rain Man and what's the other one? War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds is one of the modern remakes. You're only going to hear me say this once,
I
twice
didn't. I
that I
liked
liked.
what was that was okay, and I can't think of the name of the movie. What was the one where he like he was in he was a cop in the future, and he would see things that were going to happen, and he would go arrest people before the crime actually took place.
Is that
Just
Edge of Tomorrow or something like that, or
No,
no?
what's
Is
that
that
called? Anyway,
Minority?
I thought he was okay in that.
Minority Report.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I thought he was okay in that. But I actually like Mission Impossible too, but that's just because I'm a Hong Kong film guy and I'm a big John Woo fan.
He
It's not
directed
really
that one,
Tom
didn't he?
Cruise. It's I like
Yeah.
John Woo.
mm.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
boy.
Henry's asking favorite Tarantino movies. He has Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and Hateful Eight. He has. I have my
Hmm.
list. Well, first of all, Pulp Fiction #1 for me. I saw that in the movie theater, fell in love with it. I was floored by it. I mean, I love it.
Right.
Uh, and then Kill Bill 1 and 2. Although it's really one big epic, like Gone with the Wind. I mean, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be one. So I count that as the Kill Bill together. I like, and
Mm.
then probably my third favorite movie of his is probably Django Unchained. Although I think near the end it starts to go a little
Yeah, it does.
down.
It carries a little bit. Yeah.
You know.
Um, I gotta go with his first three. Reservoir, Pulp, and Jackie Brown.
Hmm.
It's tough for me because he's one of my three favorite directors, modern directors anyway.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Kill Bill is my #1,
Oh, good.
and I'm gonna go with Death Proof
Oh, I forgot about
as
that.
number
Yeah,
You
two.
might be the only one.
yeah. I mean,
I
I you
love
know
Death Proof,
I like it okay, but it's not one of my favorites by his, by him, But
and maybe Django is #3. My problem with Tarantino is every time I see a new Tarantino movie, that becomes my favorite for quite a while. So
mm,
it changes the order of things. Every time a new one comes out, I've never disliked one, or even come close.
but what I like best about Django is Christoph Waltz in there.
Oh yeah,
I
it's good.
really loved his character in
Hmm.
that. So
Just
let's
in the Hateful
see.
Eight was great.
That's the only one of his. I have that Blu-ray and I haven't seen it. It's the only one I
The
haven't
only
seen of
one
his.
I'm slightly disappointed in is Kill Bill 2, believe it or not. And I get it. It's great for what it is, which is basically a
Hmm.
Western. But
Right.
Tarantino in a Western to me doesn't fit that well. Although
Well,
Django
no,
is more
I
of a
wouldn't call
Western
it.
too. So
It's no. I love Kill Bill Volume 2. Let me explain the story though. Like you, well, when I first saw it in the theater, after loving the first half, I was like,
hmm
"What the hell is this?" And this is my #1 example in my life, folks, of a movie that you see multiple times and you say, "What was I thinking?" Because I saw it a total of 9 times. I counted in the theater. Now, how did that
wow.
happen? Different people I went that wanted to see
hmm
it. And every time I started to love it more and more, and I like to see other people's reactions. You know what's coming, but they don't
Yeah,
know, and everything.
yeah,
And I was also out of work a lot, so I had to find something to do during the day. So I would go to the movies, and then I'd go home after that, and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And I was like, man, I love this thing. The music that he borrows,
yeah,
yeah, there's Western elements in it, absolutely, no doubt about it. But I
yeah.
mean, it's got other things too. It's got the what's the word for it? Well, the Asian cinema.
Yeah, that's not really. That's more in one. I mean,
Yeah,
some
Right.
critics said
Yeah.
Volume 1 is an Eastern and Volume 2 is a Western, and I kind of agree with that. That's why I like Volume 1 so much because I am a Hong Kong film guy, and it's like a lost Hong Kong film. I
and may
mean,
I
Right.
say, if you
it's
can watch all that slaughtering by the what do they call them? The Crazy Eights or
yeah,
the
yeah,
what's the name?
Crazy Eights.
If you can
Crazy Eights.
watch all of that, you
uh
can
huh.
watch the Saw movies. Come on.
But it goes black and white, and I found out the
Yeah,
American censors made him do that, and the
yeah.
international cut it does not go black and white; it stays color.
That's right, and I don't know why it hasn't come out like that, and I don't know why it hasn't come back to theaters. with the whole
As
thing.
one, yeah, as one,
Because
Yeah.
yeah.
believe it or not, my girlfriend who does not like horror movies and does not like gore went to see that with me at a midnight showing. They had both of them. Uh, 2011. We were first dating. That's probably why she went. But we went to a midnight show. I saw it in the theater, one and two. It's an independent theater around here, And I mean, she loved it. And I said,
Hmm.
but all that gore. In fact, she said, well, because it's so over the top. She says it was
Yeah,
like so, it was almost
exactly.
like ridiculous. And I said, okay,
Hmm.
I get you. I got that. When she
Again,
said
there
that,
was more. There's more in the international cut.
yeah.
Um,
And there's also, is there more with the woman in the trunk too?
yes,
I
yes.
think
There's
there's more
about a
with the
minute
woman
and a
in
half more of her slicing pieces off her. It's
the
pretty bad.
Oh man. Hmm.
Man, I remember the first time I saw Volume Two, I thought, oh, what a lousy ending! The way Bill is killed. Oh, it's so it doesn't satisfy. And then I saw it 9 times. I'm like, that was perfect. I love the
Yeah,
drama of it. I love
Yeah.
it. So I'm like, yeah, I came to really like it. But my girlfriend also liked the fact that it's a woman's movie. It's like a woman getting her
Yeah.
revenge
Right.
as a
oh
warrior.
yeah.
Yeah. It's Inglorious Bastards 2 is one that probably would be close to my top three as well. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah, I don't know why that doesn't grab me as much. I don't know. Maybe it
That
seems like the
that
same
had to
thing I'm
grow
used to.
on me. I didn't see it in a theater, and the first copy I ever saw was like from a German torrent. So it
Hmm.
had no English subtitles and everything was dubbed in German, which half the movies in
Hmm.
German. Well, everything wasn't dubbed in German, actually. It was a regular print, but there's so much German in it that I didn't really know what was going on. And then I saw a real print and I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. Mhm.
I wanted to mention Richard. When he used to come up and discuss things with us, he said, he doesn't. I don't like movies. He doesn't. I don't watch movies. Then he started getting interested. I guess from what I was talking about, he wanted to see some Boris Karloff movies. And what do you recommend? I said, well,
Hmm.
I'd start with Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. And he said he liked Frankenstein, the original. I haven't heard Richard expand on that, but he liked it. Now he says, "Here, I watched Bridge. I think you mean Bride, Bride of Frankenstein today, Joe. Fantastic."
And
And I'm glad to hear. Next, you got to go with the Son of Frankenstein. And when we say Son of Frankenstein, it's not the son of the monster; it's the son of the doctor.
yes,
It's the Doctor
Hmm.
Frankenstein's
yes,
son. And Karloff returns the
yes.
third
And
time as the monster and last time. Good, Tim. What you were saying?
and I can't think of the name of the silly movie. I was gonna say though, after the Son of Frankenstein, you got to watch Young
I know.
Frankenstein
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
because
And they take a
because
lot of that from Sun. A
they
lot
take
of
a
it they take from
lot.
Sun. Like the inspector with the wooden arm, they take from
Oh
there and
yeah,
stuff like that.
and it's funny because you laugh at that so hard when you see Young Frankenstein, and then you go back and you watch Son of Frankenstein, and they didn't change a thing. It's not funny in Young Frankenstein or Son of Frankenstein, and it's hilarious in Young Frankenstein, and it's exactly the same.
The ninth. Actually, I was going to say I've never seen it, but now that I think of it, I
That's
did see that in a movie theater. I don't remember a
that's
damn
the
thing about it.
Polanski film. That's a Polanski film, I
I think
think.
I was disappointed. I don't remember a thing about it.
I
Hmm.
haven't seen.
Yeah. He's another one that I really don't care for anymore, but he's got a few good films.
So, actor and actress had the strongest chemistry on screen. I mean, that's hard to. I mean, as a regular thing, like Hepburn and Tracy, or something. Or what about the two? I never saw the Thin Man series. How
The
are
Thin
they?
Man, Paul
Oh,
and Myrna Loy, they're fantastic together.
oh yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah. But modern day,
Yeah.
um,
Modern day's tougher.
I'm
yeah.
sure there's an answer. Sometimes you can't think. I mean, they're individual movies,
Well, I, I, I
but
I think Harrison Ford and Karen Allen and Raiders of
Oh.
the Lost Ark had really good chemistry together.
Hmm.
That's kind of modern. It's about as modern as I go, really.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it says death-proof dialogue is vomit-worthy. The thing that gets me about it, I mean, it's just so, to me, it's just so fake because, you know, Tarantino, like me, likes a lot of old stuff, so he brings the old stuff into the movies, and he has
Yeah,
these characters like these girls talking about, tell me the name, Dozy, Deezy, Mick, Twitch, and
Dinky,
all this.
Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch.
Do you think she
I love
really
Yeah.
them
knows?
all.
She's supposed to be a DJ. I know that, and she's like, and I think Pete Townsend should have been in the group. And it's like, come on. This is like Tarantino's wet dream.
Well,
Exactly. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Grindhouse, or
it's a
it's supposed to be a
grindhouse.
grindhouse film,
Yeah.
and he made a
Those
grindhouse
films.
film. That's
But
why
he
I love
does
the
that
movie.
with all his films. Like he puts this kind of hip dial, like hip.
Yeah,
What's the word? Like this dialogue, retro dialogue into the mouths of people that wouldn't really
Right.
say it, probably. But there's other stuff in there too that I can't remember. Some of it. Oh, you get to see. Don't forget to see the lap dance version. You got to see the extended version with the lap dance, which is missing, I think. Soundtrack album that's better than the film. Oh man, I don't want to say more American Graffiti because I've come to really like more American Graffiti, but the soundtrack is really good. Uh, wow.
Yeah, I'd be honest with you. I couldn't answer that.
And we
um,
probably have answers, right? But you just can't think of it. You think of it later.
yeah. 'Cause most of the soundtracks I have because I like the film.
Oh, there you go. AB Munster, Magical Mystery Tour. There you go.
That's Anthony.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's
yeah.
great. It's a great answer.
There you go. That's one.
James Stewart. He's got a lot of
Excellent.
great movies, but I got to be honest with you. I mean, I haven't seen everything, but he's always talk about a guy that's always himself. To me, he's always Jimmy Stewart, but I don't know. That's not a
In
Cary
bad
his
thing.
Grant.
later films, he isn't. I don't think, but I'm a big Jimmy Stewart fan. But
Mm.
he's
Cary
I
pretty.
mean,
Grant.
When he started making westerns, he was a little different in a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
you can't ever dislike the guy. Was there ever a movie that he was a real bad guy in?
Like Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, he was kind of. Yeah, he was the bad guy in the second Thin Man after the Thin Man.
Oh,
But that was early in his career.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I mean, not nowadays, but in his career, I don't recall.
I
Blake Edwards. The problem is I don't know. I don't know all his movies by heart. If I need a list because I think
yeah.
there was this movie with John Ritter. I think it's Blake Edwards called
Yeah.
Skin Deep. Skin
Skin
Deep,
Deep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I
which I
knew
saw in
exactly
the
because you
movie
said John
theater,
Ritter. I knew.
and that wasn't a great movie, but I thought it was funny.
No, the glow in the dark scene, and that's all I'll
Yes, yes,
say.
it's
It's just hysterical.
and that's especially on the big screen because you had a big screen
Oh
and
yeah,
the
I saw it on a big screen. Yes.
yeah. But
Well,
it's weird.
Blake Edwards does the Pink Panther movies. He did
Yeah.
Days of Wine and Roses, which might be my favorite film of his.
Yeah, I remember there was something called wasn't there something called SOB by Blake Edwards?
Yeah,
This
SOB as well. Yep.
Yeah.
He did 10.
Why isn't there Woodland Goblin? Why isn't there any mention of the amazing Karloff film, The Old Dark House? Here's the thing about The Old Dark House out of my speech about this. There are a few different versions. He's talking about the original 32 version.
Yeah.
The thing is, first of all, Karloff isn't really in it much. He has a big part as a butler, crazy butler. So he's not really in it that much. Now the thing is, this was a lost film, considered a lost film for a long time, and people used to see stills of this, pictures of this, in a monster magazines, and were dying to see the movie. Finally, a print came out. Curtis Harrington salvaged. He found the print. He saved it and Universal actually had it. They denied that they had it. They couldn't find it. He said it's got to be there. Look harder, and he kept making him look. And finally, they found it. But then, when you first see it, most fans, when they see it, it's like kind of a a burlesque. It's almost like burlesque, almost like comedy kind of thing. And it's James Whale, the same guy who did Frankenstein and Bride of
Right.
Frankenstein. So there's a little bit of that kind of humor in it, and people don't get it. Long story short, just a couple of years ago, it finally came out on a restored Blu-ray. They got the actual master negative, whatever, the original negative, and it looks astounding and stunning quality. It is like it was made yesterday, and that helps a lot because the prints weren't good. Number one. But anyway, yes, I now think it's an amazing film. But when I saw it the first time, first of all, it was too dark. Uh, the print, and now it looks great. You can see everything, and I think it's great. But you got to know when you're going in that it's a little bit tongue in cheek too. It's a good haunted house movie, like a haunted house kind of feel.
Mm.
I still have to talk about it on my channel. I just did.
Yeah.
I've never properly seen it because I have it on Laserdisc and I have a really old Laserdisc player. And one track there's a commentary, and in one track there's the dialogue from the movie. And it's one of the few discs I have where I put the in, and it just plays both tracks at once. So I can't really follow the movie because the commentator's talking, and I can't change the volume of either one. I can't turn either one off. So it's
Right.
just noise coming at me. You know,
And you mentioned Laserdisc, the old dark house. I had to see it with a person on his Laserdisc player originally.
That's how
Now
I
it's
have
on
it.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And it's got a great commentary, by the way. Gloria Stewart is in it, and she's very young and beautiful in it. She wound up being the old lady in
Titanic.
Titanic.
Yeah. Wiggy, I would say two things. I would only recommend this film if A, you're a fan of Frankenstein films, and B, if you're a fan of De Niro films. But other than that, no, I would not recommend this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's worth seeing. I think it's worth seeing. A lot of people pick on the monster because it seems like it's Robert De Niro doing his usual De Niro
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
But I
it just
still say it's not his fault that he's sort of De Niro and that he's already done movies.
yeah.
I think if he had never done a movie, this was his first movie, nobody would think anything of it. I think he was all right in there. Maybe they should
You
have put
needed a no
Pacino.
name.
You got to put Pacino as the monster. That's what you needed.
There you go. Yeah, you needed a no name for that role.
Wizard of Oz is going to be remade to be more woke and diverse. What else is new? I
Great, I
don't know.
can't wait.
Oh, Fred Astaire
They
and
did.
Ginger
Didn't they do that
Rogers.
in the '70s? It was called The Wiz, and it was a huge success.
Well, that was modern for those days.
That might have been an instinct where the soundtrack was better than the film.
Yeah,
Por-
yeah, that
Porky's
could be
Revenge
actually.
Yeah,
is a good
Porky.
example.
That's the
Uh,
one with the George Harrison song on it.
yeah.
I want to do it.
Let's see. What time we got? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know.
I just heard recently somewhere that he
That he
saw
used that.
Empire Strikes Back and liked it.
I heard that he
Mm.
used it. Used sound effects somewhere. Listen, where did I hear that? Reservoir Dogs. David Lean. I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Oh,
Anybody?
Bridge on the River Kwai is is,
Oh,
is excellent.
Oh, I
You
oh,
should
know.
know Lawrence of. Never
oh,
seen
and
Lawrence of
Lawrence of
Arabia.
Arabia. I love both of those films.
They,
Yeah, yeah. Doctor
they just don't
Shivago.
interest me at all. The
Have
topics.
them again. Have them both on Laserdisc.
Yeah. Bridge though is as great as Laurence Olivier is, Bridge is probably a little bit more tense and exciting.
Lawrence
Curtis
takes a
Harrington.
while
I
to
don't
get
know.
going.
I don't know the answer. Anybody know if Curtis Harrington directed Mata Hari? I don't know. Sylvia
No,
Crystal.
haven't
No
seen that
idea.
one.
I'm with you. I mean, well, people love to point out the 1939 classic that was already a remake, but I always
Yeah,
say it's
yeah.
okay if you remake silent movies. Come on,
There are many That was. I
But
mean, there were lots of Oz films before that one,
what
and
gets me
there's
is
been since. There was one in like the early 2000s or late 90s or something with
oh
Zoe
really?
Deschanel.
Oh,
Um,
But they
I
nailed
can't
it.
remember
They
what it's
nailed it. It's a
called.
classic. The 39 film is a classic. They nailed it. That's the one
Right.
that endures.
Yeah.
Every generation grows up with that. You don't need another one. I'm sorry. I mean, do it. Go ahead. But you're not going to beat that. God.
No. No.
When you get it right that well, I don't know why. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
they argue. Sometimes, like for example, we talked about a little bit about somebody mentioned Willard, a movie about a guy that has rats. you know, and people say, well, that wasn't that great of a film, which it wasn't. I just have I have a nostalgic love for it from when I saw it in the theater as a boy. But anyway, they said, well, it's okay to make. Some people say it's okay to remake a film when it wasn't that great to begin with. And you're trying to do better, and I use that as an example with Crispin Glover as
Yeah.
Willard. I saw it. I like the original better, to tell you the truth, but some people like the Crispin Glover version.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, this is
didn't
still
they
a
do The
lost film.
Wizard
I'm
of
sorry,
Oz
go ahead.
recently too? By the way, what was it? There was two of them.
What's that?
Well, I can't
I
remember what it
don't
was
know.
called,
Oh.
but God, what were they called? Because I
Oz.
was working at Sam's and we
It's
would get the
called
new movies
Oz.
in, and there was two of them. I'm pretty sure they did. Anyway, I can't think of what they're called though.
Well, regarding London After Midnight, they've been looking for that forever, and people say, if I say people say, it's not very good. There are people that were still alive who we saw it and said it wasn't that good. Uh, they remember horror fans like Forrest J. Ackerman, who did famous Monsters magazines. Um, you know, so it's one of those. Probably like Carnival of Light, the Beatles song is probably going to be, if they discover it, it's not going to be very rewarding. Beatles song. Clockwork Orange should never be remade. I'd agree with that. We're in the
And it
world.
probably wouldn't be able to be remade these days.
Yeah,
All you got to do
yeah.
is go outside the door. You got a Clockwork Orange going on.
Well, if that's the case, it's been for hundreds of years, Joe.
Yeah. The Italian Frankenstein. What a joke. Which one is that? There's a lot of
That's the
Italian. Let's
one
talk
with is
about
that the one with Joseph Cotton?
Lady Frankenstein. Yeah.
Lady Frankenstein, yeah, yeah.
That's the kind of trash I like that one then too, even though it's
Oh, I
trash.
still want to get that one. I've got it on my Amazon
Well, you got
wish
to get
list.
it for the woman.
Oh, exactly. That's the only reason why you get that film.
Rosanna, Rosanna,
Yeah.
now Albie, something I can't remember her name. Graduate Part Two. Imagine the Graduate Part Two with Dustin Hoffman now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He goes to visit Anne Bancroft's grave. Yeah.
Look, I'm not a diehard fan at all, but what do you mean the best Christmas movie? You don't watch something like that on Christmas, do you? I
Takes
know it
place
takes
on
place on Christmas, but is that really a good thing to watch for Christmas? I don't know. Maybe a lot of
It's
people who are against Christmas.
it's been an argument for years whether that's a Christmas movie or not. I say no. Every movie that takes place on Christmas is not a Christmas movie. It's a Wonderful Life, arguably, is not a Christmas movie.
You're
I
right.
would I would say
Absolutely.
the same thing. The first That's another movie. How that was on all the time. How did I not see it until like the 90s? Or I didn't see it until the 90s or 2000s, I
Yeah.
think even. And I sort of like, what is? I was like, are you kidding me? When that thing was over, I was like, what is so special about this movie? Then
You
I
could
sort of.
argue that White Christmas isn't a
It
Christmas
is not.
movie.
It is not. I bought that thing. I was on a Christmas craze once, and I bought that thing. And my girlfriend loves that movie. She loves that's the kind of stuff she
Well,
loves. That kind of stuff. And I said,
it
it's
is at the
not
very
Christmassy.
end.
Oh,
Yeah.
terrible.
At the
Well,
very end, it's a Christmas
it's a
movie, but
Wonderful Life. Then
until
But
then,
but but I was gonna
yeah,
say, when it comes to It's a Wonderful Life, I've seen it a few times since then, and now I appreciate it, but not as a Christmas movie per
yeah.
se.
No,
I
I love Frank
cried.
Capra, so
Yeah, I
I love.
cried my eyes out the first time I watched It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh
You were so
yeah,
happy. You were so happy it was over the first time,
it's
right?
Oh,
supposed you're supposed to. No, I did too. I still get a little teary eyed once in a while in a couple of scenes in that movie, and I've seen it like a
right.
hundred times at least.
But Capra is an excellent director.
No, Capra is one of my all-time favorite directors,
You
easily.
know, it's funny when I saw. I mean, I saw Jaws when I was 13. Perfect age. Perfect age. Saw it many times in the theater and fell in love with it. Back then, I mean, well, I liked Hooper the best. Richard Dreyfuss. I still think. I mean, I love that character. I love Richard Dreyfuss. Was like, hey, you know, he's I don't know, he's like a pal of yours. I liked him in the movie. You know, now I might go with Quinn also. But
Yeah,
I might even go with Roy Scheider because back then, Brody. Back then, as a kid, I'm like, oh, he's whatever you want to. He's a coward. You know, he's not.
yeah,
But now I like. You know, he's complex, more complex. He's got these fears of the water and stuff.
yeah.
As you get older, you start thinking about more of these things. You know, that he's got problems and things like that. And he's
I'd,
got.
I'd go with the shark.
Uh, yeah, that's true.
No, the shark in that movie is bad.
The shark is
No,
what
it's
held it
not.
up from being released or
No,
sooner.
it's not. No, it's not. Come on, Tim.
it's
Bruce,
not.
you're talking about Bruce?
It's not great.
It
I
is.
mean,
And you know what
it's a
gets me?
hundred
Look,
times better than a digital shark would be, but it's
right.
still not.
But
Not.
look at what gets me about things like that. If you see a real shark, it looks like a fake shark. You ever see some of these?
Hmm.
It looks just like the one.
Oh
It
yeah.
looks like a big dead thing, fish. Like I don't know. There's
Mm.
one shot that I've seen the movie so many times. I know every frame of it. There's one shot where it hits the bottom of the tank or something, and then the jaw flop hits the ground a little bit. That that scene must have been filmed the tank or the swimming pool. I know Verna Fields. They did that scene with the head coming out of the boat in the editor Verna Fields swimming pool
Mm.
to get a better shot of the head coming out of the boat. Classic moment. Boy, what a great movie! There's a whole like sites dedicated to that movie, and that's one. Don't you ever touch that movie? Don't anybody
They.
try to remake that? You're out of your minds.
Yep.
Uh, now we're at the hour mark, but
So someone did review. Someone did get to review that new Monsters film that's going to be on Netflix next
oh,
week, and they
said it
gave it
sucked.
they gave it a one. They gave it a 1 out of 5.
Sucked. I'm watching. You know what I'm watching now? But lately I haven't been able to because my
Hmm.
girlfriend's hours at work. But we've been watching two a night of the original series for the Halloween season. There's 70 episodes. I'm still doing two a night. It's so great. You know, it's so great. You can't. You can't get those characters are the monsters. You know, that's the whole thing about it. In some cases, um, sometimes you can, and let's not say that about like the Odd Couple. Those those characters on the TV show are the Odd Couple. What you can do about it.
Hmm.
They've tried a lot of characters, a lot of actors with that. Yeah, I remember Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks too. I saw that; it was terrible. There's a Spanish Frankenstein film by Jess Franco called "The Erotic Rites of Frankenstein." That sucks, man. It's unwatchable. God,
I'm trying to think if I have Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks or not.
no,
I
you
know
don't need
something weird put it out, which is why I might have
it.
it.
Do you think the director's cut of a movie is the definite or definitive version of the movie? It should be, no?
It can be. I mean, although maybe I could argue that some studio, once the studio got a hold of the film, it might have been better than the director's cut. But for the most part, it's the director's. What's the word?
Vision. I don't know.
Vision. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, it's his vision, and he should be able to say, how it gets edited and how it appears.
yeah, I think it is. I think
Mm.
I'm not saying that there aren't versions of films that are better after the director was through with it, but I think the definitive version is whatever version the director thinks is the definitive version because it's his movie.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I've only seen one Rob Zombie film, and that was the Halloween remake. Again, I have no interest in seeing House of a Thousand Corpse or whatever it is, or Devil's Rejects. I just those kind of films just don't do anything for me.
The first movie I ever saw of his, I didn't know anything about Rob Zombie, was The Devil's Rejects. And I thought at the time it was a four-star movie, meaning for that type of movie, it's really like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of
Mhm.
vibe. It really delivered the goods, I thought, and I loved that movie. And I hadn't seen that was actually a sequel to the one you mentioned, House of a Thousand Corpses, which is supposed to be a little more comical. I'm glad I didn't see that one because I missed that one. But having the Halloween movies, I hated both of his Halloween movies. I thought they
Mm.
sucked, and even the first Halloween. For me, I like okay the first half of it when you're dealing with the kid who slowly goes bad and why he becomes a serial killer. Which, why don't you just make another movie about a crazy kid that becomes a killer? Why do you got to call him Michael Myers and make it Halloween? I know because of the
Mhm.
fanfare and the title recognition and all that, but I mean, you're not supposed to know why he does this. He just lost it or whatever. Then the second half, which I hated like you wouldn't believe, is all copying the first movie, and they're using the names Ben Tramer and the same friends. I hated it, but the second one was worse, in my opinion.
Mm.
How about Fred Gwynn, fabulous actor? Well, I still see him as Herman Munster every time I look at him, and it's something else. Except My Cousin Vinny, he was excellent. I thought
Yeah,
it's
he
one
was
of my
excellent, my
favorites.
cousin Vinny.
Yes,
Yeah, see, that's the
Dracula.
problem with doing TV. You get, I mean, especially if you get typecasted. I mean, when you do like Fred Gwynn, I mean, every time you see him, what Bob Denver, same thing. Every time you see him, you think of who? Gilligan.
Gilligan, or the
You
other guy.
know,
There's another guy,
Eh,
Dobie
even
Gillis.
Henry Winkler.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah,
Although I haven't seen that new show. It's supposed to be. Oh, is it new? It's not new anymore. Barry.
What's that?
It's supposed to be a
Hmm.
fantastic television show with Henry Winkler in
Oh,
it,
okay.
and he got
oh,
awards and everything. Called Barry.
Hmm.
I think it's been out
but
a few years now, seasons already.
Okay.
Um, um,
I mean,
Now this thing, Doc Dacus is talking about Here Come the Monsters. Eventually on this channel, I'm going to do a review of that. I tried watching it the other night, fell asleep, so it doesn't count. But I was doing some searching on YouTube, and a guy said he actually liked this movie. It was one of the many different incarnations of the monsters. This was from 1995. Uh, I think it was a TV movie. Here Come the Monsters, and the guy. Oh, I forgot his name again. His last name is Herman. Is it Ed Herman? His last name is Herman, and he plays Herman Munster, and he looks a lot like Fred Gwynn, and he captures the spirit of Fred Gwynn, and that makes all the difference. I think he was pretty good to step into Fred Gwynn's shoes. And then there's even a scene in the movie. He was telling us in the video. I watched a video. This guy was recommending this one. So this is a good one. Check it out. And he had some scenes, and I liked the scenes. And one of them has the original cast when the new Herman Munster is a waiter, and he waits at a restaurant on Butch Patrick and Pat Priest, Yvonne DiCarlo, and Al Lewis sitting at a table. I said, "This." So he said, "I really recommend this, and it has a spirit. It retains the spirit." So, based on that alone, the clips, I said, "Yeah, he's right. It does seem like it has the right feel to it." So they can do it sometimes. So I went out and I said, "Well, how do you get this?" Well, it was available from England on a DVD, but it's what is it?
Yeah.
Another region.
It's
But
the other
everybody
reason.
was saying it'll play anyway. Even some of them do that, even though it says it's another region,
yeah,
it'll
Yeah.
play on all players. So I said, okay, so it did. I got it, and it didn't. And that Here Come the Monsters, from what I've seen, it seems to be the most faithful to the TV show, original TV show.
I, I
Hmm.
learned why that is. Why some DVD players
Oh,
are region this, but
coded.
will play
Yeah.
everywhere. And that is because you have to get a license for every region to release a DVD in, and that's expensive. And some companies don't want it released in their region because there's already another release in that region. So what
Hmm.
these smaller companies will do is say, okay, this is region 2 or whatever, but they'll put it on an all region DVD and let the word leak out that will play everywhere, but it's only licensed in region 2. I mean, they're only aiming it at their own region, but it doesn't mean the rest of the world can't buy it and they won't sell a few more copies.
All right.
Okay, how
So
about
that's
this one?
fun.
Does your opinion change based on what you read or see first, a movie or the book it's based on? I don't know when that's happened. I read the book Salem's Lot, and I thought it was fantastic. It was Stephen King. I saw the
Yeah.
movie. I thought it wasn't as good as the book. That's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. There's a few books. The Road that came out a few years back with Viggo Mortensen. I read the book and thought it was fantastic. Um, the movie is pretty faithful, but Clockwork Orange too is another one. I read the book and the movies is slightly different.
I
I'll
Oh,
tell you
go
a
ahead.
quick story. I was reading this book I bought at a thrift store by this obscure author nobody had ever heard of, and I'm literally on the last page, and I've got the TV on with no sound, and I'm looking up from the TV, and there's a commercial for a new Tom Hanks movie. So I was a Tom Hanks fan at the time, so I go run over, I turn it up, I watch the commercial, and the movie is Forrest Gump, and that's the book I'm reading. Never heard
No.
of
Yeah.
it. Literally on the last page. So I
Mhm.
couldn't wait to go see this movie, and it was a couple weeks away at this point. So I saw it like on opening day or the next day or something like that, and I was slightly disappointed. Wasn't that disappointed, but I thought the book was better.
Hmm. All right, Joe.
Yeah. Okay. I get you're ready to go, Tom. All right. It's time to kick this in the head. It's been pretty good this time. We're gonna do this again. We will. Any progress, Tom, on your promised threat to maybe do a
Yes.
channel
Yes, yes, yes.
of
I
your?
think I'm officially, and I know it's kind of a long title, but I'm gonna go with it anyways. I'm gonna hopefully next month at some point start a movie channel called The Adventures of a Film Fanatic, and it's gonna be a little bit of everything. Whether it's home market or at the theater, just a little bit of everything. So hopefully next month I'll get the page up and maybe a video or two.
All right. Well, that sounds good to me. I'll be looking forward to that for sure.
Cool.
And I'm glad you're going to decide to do this. And what else can we say? Tim, give a plug for even though it's not movie related, because I can never say it right.
Well, I do have my own channel. It's just under my name,
Yes,
and I also do a
Tim
podcast,
Allen.
Snap Crackle and Pop Vinyl Hour, and it's snapcracklepop.podomatic.com, and I took a couple weeks off, and I just put a new one up yesterday, so check it
Hmm.
out.
All right, and please subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed. Mayo After Dark. Thanks, guys. This has been fun.
Thanks
We'll do it
for having
again.
me, Joe.
Do it again soon. No problem. It was fun. All right, guys.